Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Ready Set Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and murder mystery. I'm Bryce, and I'm joined by the great detective Darian.
Yo!
And the super killer bunny, Colin Chambers.
What's up? I didn't do it. You can't prove it. This isn't blood on my mouth.
So, Darian, who do you think is the killer?
Colin.
Keeping in mind that it's not me,
It is Colin.
you have no proof.
I'm the great
There's no
detective.
evidence. This is all conjecture, circumstantial evidence.
I'm the great detective. And Colin is a murderer. He did it in the kitchen with a lead pipe.
Kinky.
Not. No, God.
That visual in your head now?
Well, now I'm thinking like a lead pipe. Like, that would make you sick. Hashtag not worth.
I mean, yeah. I mean, again, more evidence to my inness.
Is you wouldn't use a lead pipe in the kitchen?
I wouldn't touch
Hashtag
that
bunny
shit.
did nothing wrong. Hashtag free bunny.
Darian, what
That is me.
video games have you been deducing these last 2 weeks?
Deducing.
Yes, thinking about
The
it or
thing
something.
detectives do.
Yeah, figuring. I don't know. Trying to connect the things. Come on, go with me.
Trying to connect the dots. Like, look, I'm trying to do a transition here. Well, mostly, you'll never guess, League of Legends has been in my...
He said games, not soul-sucking demons.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
Darian had stuff she wanted to talk about that game. What do you got for us?
So, a couple days ago, Riot released a comic book. First was a comic, then a music video, and then another comic to follow the music video. A story updating the lore of a not as commonly played AD carry Varus, and I loved it. They basically revealed that he is a Darkin, and he shares a body with two gay men. And it's so cute.
You spoke a lot of French and Latin to me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there. So Darkins are like these demons that basically, like, most of the time they're a weapon of some sort, and then they have to get a human host essentially to be able to be like fully sentient. Or they're sentient, but they can't do anything because they're just weapons.
Okay.
So then...
So they're inanimate, sentient weaponry.
Yes. Okay. And then a human host generally has to come along and agree to, I guess, become one with this Darkin entity. And in this case, it was two people because one of them had died. So the Darkin sucked up the soul of the one that had died, and then the other person gave his body up for them to all be in his body together. And
Kinky.
Oh yeah. And I think I might be describing that wrong, but basically, like, the humans, Valmar and Kai, were in love, and Kai was mortally wounded, and so Valmar basically made an agreement with the Darkin, who I think the Darkin's name is Varus, but they're not really clear on if he has his own name or whatever.
So this game is set in the Game of Thrones universe?
In the League of Legends. What? No, not the same Varus.
Oh,
These are the
okay.
US, not a YS. Pronounced the same way though, because if you pronounce it wrong, I'll kill you.
Okay.
Because some people like to pronounce his name Varus, and I'm
Varus?
just like, that's not his name.
Varus. Got it.
But so Valmar and Kai, Kai's kept alive now because his soul was combined with Valmar and Varus' soul in Valmar's human body. They go around with the bow and arrow and kill shit. And it's just Varus' whole existence is two gay men and a demon in one body, and it's glorious.
Sounds like he just wanted a couple of guys inside him at the same time. Seems like a really long way to go about it, though.
What exactly was this music video?
There's
Was
a
it-
music video about this whole
Yeah,
thing?
it's a music video.
Is it like a rap?
Oh my God.
Or
No,
something?
it's just
This
it's
is like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard of.
Oh jeez. I don't know if I don't know if you want to like go and listen to it or something, but
No. Well,
it's like 3 minutes. It's mostly for the visual, but the visual is what tells the story. The song is I don't know, just like
what kind of music?
um
Pop?
Demon metal?
it's not definitely not metal. I would say maybe a little pop, but the music is like definitely techno-ish. And
Okay.
it's got nice vocals and stuff. And the lyrics are kind of poetic as to what's going on. Like it's not describing exactly what's happening, but you can see where it relates if you like read them and think about it. Does that make sense? They fall into a well, they find the demon dude, they all become one. It's called As We Fall.
All right.
Okay. Cool stuff. Anything else you've been playing?
I've been playing PUBG as well. Got back into that.
Nice.
And I actually also, I didn't write this down because I tried it for the first time last night, but I found a mobile version of PUBG. Not the one that we're going to talk about later, but it's called Rules of Survival. It's a free-to-play game. It's a mobile battle royale game, and I played one game on it, and it's not completely terrible. I was expecting it to be awful, but like I enjoyed myself. So I'll probably be playing a little bit more of that.
Just like the girl with the lead pipe.
Ugh. I also got The Sims 4 and have been playing the shit out of that because I like to live
That's how you play The
vicariously
Sims.
through. Yeah.
You can't not just like dabble. It's
Right.
either you play The Sims and nothing else for like 30 hours at a time. Or you don't
Yeah, the
know
thing
what The
with
Sims
The
is.
Sims though is like you can't tell how much time is going by. And like mine's
Right.
even worse because like I'm consistently like speeding up time to get through the tasks that I'm assigning them.
Right.
And
Or
so
when they're all
like
at work.
yeah. So like it feels like it's been like 15, 20 minutes. It's been about 5 hours and it's past my
Right.
bedtime. I need to go lay down. Like
I have to get up in an hour.
yeah. like the way that Civilization is. That's my
Right,
that's
yeah.
how Sims is.
Just one more turn.
yeah.
Just one more task. One more day.
Listen, just one more skill upgrade, all right?
Exactly.
Like, oh
Never
God.
mind that's going to take 5 in-game days
Right.
of them doing nothing but that.
Bunny. What
What up?
about you? What have you been playing?
I've been all over the place, but I've focused things down a little bit. Been playing Diablo 3 on all 3 platforms like crazy. Seasonal journeys are the coolest thing that they could have possibly added because basically you get to start the game fresh, except you get to jump straight into adventure mode, which is the cool like bounty based thing where you go do like 5 tasks in each act and you get a cache of items on top of all the loot you've already collected. And it gives you like reach level 50, reach level 70, kill this enemy on this difficulty level or higher. Basically collect a shitload of loot, to kill things, to collect more loot, to kill more things, to collect more loot, ad nauseum, until you're bored. But you're never bored because it's a constant dopamine shot, like just one after another. So that's really good. I've been playing in my morning gaming sessions, South Park, The Fractured But Whole, which is just fantastic and so funny. I'm like partway through the third day. So yeah, great game. I think everybody should play it. Been playing a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, because Morrowind was my first Elder Scrolls experience in any way, shape, or form, and Morrowind and ESO brought me into it, and I don't like MMOs usually. And then another staple for me is NHL 18. I have a problem. I like playing NHL. So yeah.
Okay. The last 2 weeks I have been playing more of Rimworld. I'm actually close to beating the game. It turns out when you build a spaceship, because like the premise is that you crash on a planet. Once you built a spaceship, like you have to research how to build a spaceship and all that, and get everybody loaded in the cryo chambers. Then you can take off and you win. So I've got everything researched, and I've got kind of started to lay out the ship stuff. So now I've just kind of got to focus on getting all the uranium and advanced components and all the stuff I need to complete the ship, while just trying to keep people alive. But I'm in that like final stretch.
Oh man.
Which who knows how long that can take with like, it seems like I'm just getting raided all of the effing time. But I've got so much money at this point that like a mechanoid ship will crash and I'll just like throw a bunch of money at the other factions and just build up a lot of rep with them, and then just like be like, hey, can you guys help me out and stuff, and summon like 4 groups of armies over, just like shoot at the ship so that the mechanoids come out, and all of my guys are just hiding inside the house while all of the other factions people are just getting slaughtered, just bodies everywhere. But like they managed to take them out enough that I can just like roll up and finish them off, no problem. And I was like, thanks guys, hope the money was worth it.
Yeah. And then you take all of their weapons, all of their drugs that they inevitably carry in, and you get to scrap all the mechs.
I get to take everything they had on them, sell it, and then give it back to them for rep again.
So you play Rimworld with like very few mods, right?
Yeah, no mods.
Or like no mods. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited to see if you will jump in to the mod kind of situation, because that takes Rimworld as deep as the game is already and like multiplies it by 1,000. It is. The modding community is fantastic, and they work. Tynan, the lead developer, works very closely with the modding community. It's really cool to see. So, fantastic mods out there, and I've put, of my like 350 or so hours in Rimworld, I've probably played 280 of it with mods on. So, yeah, definitely worth it. Definitely exciting. I use my endgame spaceship just to send off people that I don't want, like pyromaniacs or like psychopaths that are just ruining everything for everybody else. I just put one cryo casket on the spaceship and send it off with those people, because the game doesn't end. It just gets rid of the people that you put in the spaceship, and you can keep playing with the rest of the people. It's interesting.
What happens if you send everyone off? Then do you get
if you send everyone off? So yeah, if you send everybody off, you can basically you can just watch your little colony. There's a chance that like more survivors will show up and just like join the empty colony. So you can kind of like restart with these ruins or leftovers of what you had before.
Interesting.
In that same universe. There are mods too, or same map. There are mods too that will allow you to, like, if you send everybody off in a spaceship, there's mods that will allow you to use that spaceship set and pick a new spot on the same planet or on a different planet to like start a new colony there, which is pretty cool. Because then you start with like people who are really good at things, but completely different situations, or like a different biome or something like that. So
Yeah, I mean, you can like abandon your base and go elsewhere, but then you have to actually get the people there, and that's a whole production.
right,
So.
right, and that's why the Charlton Whitestone guy that like calls you in at the beginning of each colony, he's like, "Hey, come to this place and you can escape this planet." That is a very hard thing to do. I've seen a couple of YouTubers do it. It's not easy.
I don't even remember that. It's probably like, oh, I'm in no position to be going anywhere, so it's like I'm not even paying attention to messages.
I've started so many things, so many colonies in that game that it's just like, oh yeah, this guy's calling me again. All right, bye. I don't even look anymore. There's a purple flag somewhere on the map.
Nice. Yeah, the developers very active with it. Like there was an update not that long ago when I was loading up my save, and
Beta 18.
yeah, and it added in like some new furniture options, and it as far as I can tell, this wasn't a thing that was there before, that people can get it inspired so that they will like for a short time shoot faster or go faster or do whatever they normally do, but better for a little bit.
Right. That was part of beta 18. So they went from alpha 17 to beta 18. So
Ooh.
they're calling it feature complete at this point by turning it to beta, but I'm sure we'll see tons more features added in like 1.0 and beyond. But yeah, they added new furniture, new incidents, new biomes. They added the combat story, like colonist tab. So like when you're fighting, it like has a story of combat that's happened. So it's like this person tried to bash this guy over the head, and then if you check that person's combat log, it's like dodged a swing at my head or something like that. So that's pretty cool. There's new mental breaks. There's like positive mental breaks, which is the inspirations that you're talking about. There's new world features. The map gets names generated now. It was a massive update, which is really exciting. It was a long time from alpha 17 to 18 to beta 18. So beta 18, I haven't put a ton of time into beta 18 yet, just because so many other stinking games are coming out. But it's like my wife and I play it when she's going to bed, and it just puts her in like this trance and she just falls asleep. So it's really nice.
That would be a great game to have on the Switch, where you could just play it wherever.
Oh my god. Don't tease me. Don't tease me. I've already got Stardew Valley on the Switch. That's like the perfect Switch game. Like I'll play day while I'm in line. But man, I'd miss so many appointments just sitting in the office.
Speaking of the Switch, I finished Mario Odyssey.
Nice.
Which
finished it.
I saw credits.
Okay,
I heard the cool song, the second cool song, I guess, and saw credits, and then got dropped into the deal, and there Cappy's like, oh, there's other stuff we can do, and I've kind of been like poking around the worlds and seeing what stuff I missed, but I've been in no hurry to really do that.
There's bullshit challenges. Like there's a challenge tower, you got to fight like all of the bunny things, whatever the rabbit things that you fight throughout the game
Funnels?
are. You fight them all on like 3 parts, which is ridiculous and really annoying. I don't know, I'm not a fan of it. It's like post game, end game, whatever. Personally, but great game otherwise.
Another game I've been playing, which I just started like today, is a game called Dofus, and that was because there's an anime series based in the same world. Started off watching Wakfu, which there's season 1 and 2 on Netflix, I believe. And I really love that show. And then I saw that Verve has the Dofus TV show about Carob, who's this like adventurer, but now he's old, so he runs a shop where he sells off all the kind of loot he's got throughout the years. And each episode is kind of like a story about something in his shop and like how he got it. And I just love all of the animes and the world. So I'm like, I'm gonna hop into the game and see like what that's like. And like, I'm not a big MMO person. The one cool thing that this game does is that it is a very tactical battles. Like every time you go into a battle, you'll see like, okay, there's 3 spirits or whatever that I'm gonna be fighting, and it drops you in, and you select your position on the map, and based on where they are, and then it's all like grid based of like, okay, they're gonna move this many squares. My attacks do this many squares. I'm trying to think like Final Fantasy Tactics or something like that, but only with one person. And then you can also like other people can join in the battles with you and do that. But I haven't seen that kind of game, that kind of battle system in an MMO other than Dofus. There's actually Dofus, which I think is like 10 years old, and there's Wakfu, which I think when they made the Wakfu TV show, they were like, okay, we're going to release Wakfu, which is a lot like Dofus, but it's newer in some ways. So they seem to be pretty similar, but I've just been checking out Dofus right now. It's a cool game to just kind of play while you chill out. I haven't left the beginning area, so we'll see what that's like. But I really love the world of the anime. So if any of that is in the game, I've already seen the character from the Dofus anime that I've been watching all day last few days. I've already seen him in game, so that was cool.
The game looks really pretty.
Yeah, it's got a cool style to it. It's free to play if anyone wants to check that out. So that's what I've been playing for the last few weeks. Mostly just Rimworld, but I've been poking around at the other stuff.
Mostly just Rimworld. That's what Rimworld does. It's like The Sims.
Yeah. But time to get into the news. Now,
news?
Yes. This is not the PUBG that Darian is playing, but the official PUBG will be coming to mobile, starting in China, but with the popularity of PUBG, it's pretty likely that it will be coming to Western markets at some point. You excited to play PUBG on your phone?
Hell yeah. Bring that shit with me everywhere.
I love PUBG. I wouldn't want to play it on my phone.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Same. Like PUBG is way too high stakes and like tactical that I feel like I couldn't do that on my phone.
Yeah, it would cost me a phone every time I die, and that's
wow.
That's not okay.
I guess I don't have quite an emotional response when I die, because I die very often. So
I've gotten used to it for the most part on PC, but it's still, there's sometimes I'm just like just so mad at myself. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I knew that guy was there. Why'd I try to throw a grenade and not just like wait for him to come around the corner and shoot him? Oh God, I'm so dumb. Just like I'll hit my leg or something, and like it'll scare the dog downstairs. I'm like, sorry, dog.
I always just play like stupidly, so I don't really care. Like I'll just roll in, find a car, and just kind of like roll around, and if I end up killing people, it's like, wow, I'm doing great.
Great. Yeah.
I've gotten like top 5 before. I haven't gotten any chicken dinners, but like I don't play that seriously, so I don't care one way or another.
I think I have my Steam screenshots are all just like every chicken dinner I've ever gotten. So,
And how many is that?
I'd say probably 30,
3.
35, somewhere in there. Let me check. Let me see my screenshots in this Pubble Gubble.
Couple.
Pubble Gubble.
I like it.
Battle Royale, PUBG. I have 43 screenshots total. A couple of them are just really cool screenshots. Like if you throw a Molotov, and then throw a flashbang grenade at yourself, the Molotov fire is just bright red and orange on the screen. I got a couple of cool screenshots of that. But yeah, it's like I would say there's probably 30 to 35 chicken dinner screenshots in here.
Fancy.
Not hardly any of them are solo. I've gotten like maybe 5 solo wins, but get a good squad rolling, and
I feel like solo's the easiest.
Solo's the easiest to win, really?
Yeah, because that way if you take someone down, you know that they're out. Like that.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I like the solo experience more myself just because it's more intense, but I like overall it's just some of the best emergent gameplay out there. Every time you play, you'll come away with some new story. And I mean, getting a squad together is just like can be one of the most ridiculous things you'll ever do in video games. So
it's great though.
It's what?
It's great.
It is great. It's I mean, if Horizon Zero Dawn didn't come out this year, it'd be my game of the year.
So while you're going to the grocery store to get your chicken dinners, you can pick yourself up some Mario cereal. Why don't you tell me about that, Bunny?
Well, Mario is now in a cereal that looks a lot like Lucky Charms. But you can take your Switch and get your Amiibo fix while you eat your breakfast, while you just eat sugar on sugar breakfast cereal. So yeah, I mean, it can't get any better than that, right? I don't know what you'll get out of Amiibos. Never used an Amiibo. Never felt any desire to purchase an Amiibo. So that's Mario Amiibo cereal for you.
Yeah, I've got a few Amiibos. If you use the cereal, you'll either get a heart or some coins. So not really that much, but a little.
I was gonna ask that question because I remember when Super Mario Odyssey was being announced and stuff, they were like, "We're not gonna make any of the content of this game you have to buy an Amiibo for." Like you're going to get all of the content of the game with the game. They were very contingent upon that. Like, we're doing this way. And it was one of the things that was talked about right before it came out. So then I just had that thought, like, oh, but now it's on a cereal box. Are you going to give me additional content on this cereal box? But if it's just minor gameplay stuff, like,
so do you not even get like outfits with like in?
There are certain certain Amiibos that will give you outfits, like the Waluigi and the Mario Odyssey characters will give you certain stuff, but if you unlock enough stuff at the end game, you can just buy that stuff. Like, you can unlock that without Amiibos. You just have to kind of work for it.
Okay.
Grind. Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
So, like most games, Amiibos offers a shortcut.
Right.
Amiibo is a different kind of microtransaction. It's a much prettier
but this cereal is pay to win. It's just some pay to win bullshit in this cereal here.
Hey,
I mean, I'm gonna pick up like probably like
40
10 boxes of it. I don't even have Mario Odyssey yet, but like I'm excited
gotta
to
be
try
ready.
the cereal. I'm a huge fan of Lucky Charms, so I'm hoping that it's at least similar in flavor.
It literally looks exactly like Lucky
It does.
Charms.
It just looks like Lucky Charms. I love it.
I'm just looking forward to all the like Amiibo collectors having to put the cereal on the shelf next to the rest of their Amiibos. Like, it's an Amiibo, I gotta add it to the collection.
Oh no! Ew.
Dude, take the cereal bag out of the box.
No, that's
You can't
ruining
do that.
That
Yeah,
ruins-
it's not in
that
mint
opens it?
condition if you
Yeah.
open
Mint
the
in box.
box.
Stale in box. Jesus. Sorry. I'm not a collector. My pop figures are all like out. Like, I want to display this. I want all 5 of my Batmen standing together.
The only one I regret taking out of the box that I did is the reverse, or like the Joker Batman that I got from a loot crate that you can't buy.
Yes, they?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy. I regret taking him out of the box.
Yeah. I mean, it
Everything
still
else,
has the
it's like,
box,
meh.
but
He's still in the box for me, so I'll be getting all the millions.
yeah.
Son of a
I like the Joker as Batman. He's cool.
Darian just rolled their eyes for all the audio only listeners.
What?
You rolled your
I
eyes
did.
when I said that.
I did roll my eyes at you.
It was like a really like heavy like roll that like I'm definitely rolling my eyes at you.
Head fell off.
I don't have a transition for this, but we're kind of going into some shitty section of the news. Starting,
So these aren't heroes; these are villains at this point. Is that what you're saying?
sure. No,
They
that was great.
die the hero or live long enough to see themselves become the villain.
Okay,
What?
so the Marvel hero developer Gazillion laid off pretty much everyone on Thanksgiving Eve. So we heard that Marvel Heroes was closing, and we assumed that we had till like the end of the year to. The people who played it had that long.
Well, they announced that.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, Thanksgiving Eve, everyone just gets told, hey, you don't have a job anymore. Like, you're out. So I guess that like they didn't have a second project or anything. It was Marvel Heroes or death, and everybody's out of a job.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks for them. Hopefully everyone who was involved in that will be able to find jobs elsewhere. But that really sucks for Gazillion.
Absolutely.
So the U.S. government has been paying a little attention to video games lately due to all of the loot crate situation.
Loot crate apocalypse.
Yeah.
What are we calling this? Loot crate gate.
Starting off in Belgium, people, who is it? A guy in Belgium. I can't. And in Belgium, the country's gaming commission last week opened an investigation into loot box purchases in video games. So they are people have been talking for a while. Are loot crates gambling? And the government, the Belgian government, is coming out and saying we think it might be, and we want it treated as such. And then here in America, the Hawaiian lawmaker in Hawaii yesterday.
Hawaiian lawmakers.
In Hawaii yesterday, Representative Chris Lee and Sean Quinlan held a news conference that assailed loot crates on preying on children, naming Battlefront 2 specifically. And this is from the Polygon article.
Yeah.
So
Good for them.
Across the board, governments are paying attention to this situation. And like, gaming is freaking the frick out because they do not want the government involved, telling them what can and cannot be done. That is why, like, we had this happen back in like Mortal Kombat, where people were saying games are too violent. So gaming created their own group to kind of police themselves. Except the ESA has come out and said, we don't think Loot Crate is gambling. So if they're not going to police it, the government's going to come in and try and say something.
So historically, when the government attention is drawn towards any sort of media, it leads to some sort of self-policing. So I can't imagine legislation, at least in the US, would actually go through in any effective manner. But this will probably lead to at least a, check yourself kind of situation for publishers and developers who are like, we need to find a way to monetize this game that we want to support for years to come. And how do we do it without drawing the eyes of the government? Or how do we alert players without drawing some sort of government backlash? Like, if we're going to do it this way, we need to tell the people buying it that they're doing this in the same way that the ESRB says, all right, well, this game has blood and gore and violence and, whatever. And the MPAA does that for movies, as broken and not really accurate as those systems are, they exist as a way of keeping government hands out of that. So it's self-policing to avoid government censorship in a way.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be something where, I think everyone there's been a big boom lately, and I think that kind of started with Overwatch, where Overwatch was the big, everyone went hard on loot boxes. I think I'm trying to think if there was a game before that like loot boxes were really big and that people loved. But
a game that you paid for that also had loot boxes in it. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I think it was like Overwatch. People saw the great success from Overwatch and started putting that in their games, except I think Battlefront, like, they messed up in a lot of ways with this.
Tying it to progression was the big thing.
Yeah. Having your loot crates be gameplay effective, so you literally pay to win, but not like I can pay and I will know exactly what I'm winning. You're paying to hopefully win. It's not. It wasn't even that. It was like, it doesn't matter what you get in the crates, because you just break everything down in the crates, and then you can buy the cards or upgrade the cards with all the crafting materials you get and whatever. It's a terrible system that is probably going to end up being a good thing for gaming in general, because it brought so much attention to loot crates and gambling and that kind of progression based gambling, or whatever you want to call it. And we'll probably see some pivots from other developers or other publishers who have been implementing these kinds of things. I'll be interested to see what like Rockstar does with Red Dead for monetization. Historically they've done by money, like in-game money or whatever for GTA Online. Yeah. I think nobody's had any objections with that kind of stuff, because clearly what you're getting. Like DLC, extra costumes, all of that stuff has been a thing for a long time, and no one has objected, because you put in your money, you knew exactly what you were getting. Whereas with this loot crate system, I could want a certain costume, or with Battlefront, I could want a better gun for the one character I play, but I could pump money in over and over and over and never get the thing I want, because it's all random.
Right.
So specifically what the Hawaiian representative Chris Lee is, he wants kids to not be able to buy them. He's worried about them being the most susceptible to it, and them not really like earning their own money, so they'll could put their parents into debt for this. He said, speaking of Battlefront 2, this game is a Star Wars themed online casino designed to lure kids into spending money. And of course, he followed with,
"It's a trap.
It's a trap."
It's a trap. I hope he said it in the voice too.
I'm like, yeah. Definitely. I mean, here's the problem with like preventing kids from playing or paying or buying the loot crate. Like, either if adults can do what the kids are gonna do it, kids have been lying about their ages on the internet from day one.
Right.
Like, there's no way to police that system. So you need to either remove loot crates or do something to loot crates in general to prevent kids from being involved with that.
A bit of that onus is on the parents. Like, don't let your kids have something that they could accidentally spend thousands of dollars on through your credit card or whatever, like, just don't do it.
Does League of Legends have crates, or is that just straight up buying costumes?
They implemented a mystery chest shortly after Overwatch came out, probably like 2 or 3 months afterward, where you can buy mystery chests and it'll drop champion shards, skin shards, and then exclusive crafting materials called gemstones. And then they have exclusive skins that you can make only, like skins and a ward skin. I think right now it's just skins and one ward skin that you can make out of these gemstones that you only get out of these boxes. So they basically created a whole exclusive set of fun stuff you can get for buying their mystery boxes. But they complicated it in such a way that, like, it'll drop skin shards, but you have to activate it with orange essence, which you get from breaking down the previous skin shards and stuff. I don't know. It's not a bad system, though, because there are, like, loot exclusive skins that are really freaking cool. They put a lot of work into them, and, I mean, you can get lucky and get them out of a box. So I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't know.
Okay,
and none of it affects gameplay, right?
No. League's whole thing is anything you can purchase with money does not affect gameplay. They're very adamant about that.
That's the way it should be. Especially, it's a free-to-play game, right? So
yes.
I mean, yeah. Like, I think the Battlefront's deal, like, it was not a free to play game. It was an actual buy game.
$60 game
that has loot crates that affect gameplay. Like, mobile has had free to play stuff that you can buy and do better at the game or whatever. But that's been free this entire time. They've took free to play, put it in their paid games, and just
it's like when you go to a theme park, right? And you pay your like $50 admission or something. And the best ride costs an additional $30 to ride.
But there are places that actually do that.
And it's not good.
There are, yes. It's horrible.
It's awful, yeah.
Like,
yeah, Disney.
Okay, never mind. Disney. I mean, Elitch Gardens here's Six Flags park does that. It like, all right, leave me alone. I'm not going there anymore.
So speaking of things that you don't have to pay for, Destiny 2 is getting a free trial.
Hey,
do you think
it's my way in, boys?
Yeah, you're finally gonna try it out now, Darian?
I don't know. When is it?
It's already out. It started on the 28th. So
on the 28th?
Yep, of November.
For how long? Oh, it started?
Yeah, it's always gonna be there.
Yeah, it's a free trial version of Destiny 2. So basically, you can play in like 2 of the areas in the game, which are like the first 2 areas you encounter. You can get to level 7, and if you purchase the full game, your progress carries over. So
that's kind of neat.
Oh, and they
It's
can
like
also
this-
join a clan and earn clan experience. So that's cool.
yeah, that's really nice, because clan experience for everybody else in the clan who's already max level, you're getting max level clan items. So that's really nice. But yeah, I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense, really, because that's not going to give you the real Destiny experience. The real Destiny experience comes when you hit level 20, you finish the story, and you start doing
And
endgame
that's why
content.
they don't let you do that with the free trial, because if they
Right.
gave you that with the free
Yeah.
trial, no one would buy the game.
Right. But they're not even giving you a taste of it, right? Which would make a whole lot more sense. Like the public areas are something you do for an hour a week per character. So
I think it's getting them into the game and trying to get them involved in the community.
yeah.
So that once they're part of the community, then they'll be like, oh, I want to hang out with these people more. Let me get the
Yep.
actual game.
If you haven't already played Destiny 2, I would encourage you to wait until after December 12th's patch comes out, which we'll probably talk about in a little bit.
Okay. I mean, but if you have been playing Destiny 2 before now, you've been cheated on your XP.
What?
Yes. Why don't you tell me about that, Bunny?
I don't know. I found out that I've been cheated this whole time. I had no
His
idea.
whole life was just
'Cause
turned upside down.
I'm gonna have to dump out my vault. I have no idea what to do about this. This is horrible. Can I throw all my stuff at Bungie?
I don't think so.
No. So what happened? They did a double XP weekend, right? Which is a flashy term that I think a lot of first-person shooters do, right? Double XP. It makes a whole lot of sense for a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something where you're like leveling up constantly, right? With Destiny, you hit level 20 and all of your XP goes towards bright engrams, right? Which are basically Destiny's loot crate. You can purchase bright engrams with the currency that you can buy with real money, or you earn one it used to be every 80,000 experience, which was a decent chunk of experience, right? So double XP weekend comes by. There was also a buff for like playing, like an experience buff for playing with people and playing consecutive matches. But what was happening, it was that you'd earn a certain amount of experience, and then it would basically put a less than 1 multiplier on your experience until you were getting as little as 40% of what the number was showing up. So you'd finish an activity, it would say experience like 130,000 experience, and your bar would move like 2 pixels. And so people were like, what's going on? Somebody figured it out, did the math, was like, yep, they're cheating you on experience. As somebody who has played Destiny and followed Bungie since the alpha of Destiny 1, I don't think it was predatory in nature. I think Bungie is that. I think it is so easy for me to believe that somebody was not assigned to watch these like slowdown checks, right? So they have this mechanic in the game where if you open a chest, there's a cooldown for the next time you open a chest on that planet, right? So you can open a chest and get like a token for that area. And then if you go and open a chest again, which you can buy items with the silver that reveal chests on the map for you, just on your HUD. It's super obvious. Like, okay, here's the next chest. And you open that. If you open chests too quickly, your next chest will be either just Glimmer, which is a useless, at this point, useless currency. You're probably already maxed out on Glimmer. So you might get nothing from that chest until your cooldown timer is expired. They don't publish this cooldown. There's no HUD for that cooldown. It's just something that they've put in to stop people from grinding their game to death, which fits in with the philosophy that Bungie doesn't really want you playing it hardcore. They've kind of designed Destiny 2 for a more casual crowd, which is also part of why I don't think that they were necessarily being predatory. I think that they did mess up. It was probably something that they were doing to slow down progression that got multiplied way out of proportion with this double XP event, that they didn't think to look at that and go, okay, well, we're doing double XP, but there's this cooldown thing. They probably just forgot that this cooldown thing was there, or didn't expect it to be like 40% of what you were supposed to be getting. I want to give Bungie the benefit of the doubt here, because they seem like that kid in class who's got this really cool idea for a story he wants to tell, but is just a bad writer. And so you read this terrible story about this kid, you're like, well, you had a cool idea, but you don't know how to use there, and there.
Okay, it was only with certain activities though that your XP would get scaled. I think it was public events and crucible matches, things that could be done quickly, and that's what the word was. Yeah, it was that the best ways to level were by doing public matches and stuff, so you could just grind that out pretty quickly. And because looking at the numbers, okay, based on the numbers that they show, this is math works out, but then it turns out no, actually, and rating, and I think that stuff that was not scaled; it was static all the time.
Right. Well, and doing a raid takes so long that cooldown would expire, even if it existed. They would have to put that cooldown on like 5 hours for it to be noticed by enough people. The raid is something that takes probably, with an average crew, probably 2 to 3 hours to get through. So unless you are raiding with a very experienced group who, gets through every encounter every time, it's that's not something that would really come into play with that. The public events, the things that you can do quickly, right? You can go to Titan, especially, is a good example of that. You can go to Titan, and there are 3 public events all within like a 10-second walk of each other that will spawn back to back to back. So you can just kind of do a circle of those. And so they have a cooldown in there to prevent people from just constantly doing that circle. But that's what people are going to do. People are going to play your game to death. They're going to dissect it. You're going to get everything exposed in that case. So,
well, they've got APIs. There's ways to connect to Destiny to be able to look at that stuff, but people did them out.
Right. But it's even on Destiny's website.
Yeah,
on Bungie's website. So
I don't think there's any way you can justify them showing, because it gave you a number. It's not just showing the bar. It said a number. That number was a lie. They were lying to you.
Right. Whether intentional or unintentional, it was a lie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's nothing right about that. But in my mind, I think it's just like, hey, like somebody finally came up to him and was like, hey, that's not what you're getting, right? What do you mean? Like somebody had to break it down for him.
So you're like, oh, Destiny's just
seems like just that kind of
stupid.
They seem like that kid a little bit. They don't understand that they have an MMO, right? They don't understand they're making an MMO. They don't call it an MMO. They call it a shared space shooter, right? They don't call it, anything related to an MMO. They don't have systems in there to allow people to be social within the game. You have to go outside of the game and outside of Bungie's systems to be social with the game. And they make these decisions that seem like they all align with their philosophy of this game is for casual players, which is not their community. So, and then on the other side of that, they're like, we're making hardcore PvP fucking esports bullshit game here. And we're trying to make this as hardcore as possible, but then their social team's like, well, we don't want people to be trolls or mean to each other, so we don't have leaderboards. You don't get kills, you defeat enemies with your other teammates, so there's no kills and assists. If you shoot somebody and your teammate shoots them the rest of the time that they need to die, you get a defeat, the same as your friend just got. So there's all sorts of conflicting things going on here for me to think that there's some sort of communication level that is not happening, that needs to filter between the developers happening, like between the PvE crew, the PvP crew, the social crew. They all need to have some sort of filter that just doesn't seem to be there.
So the Destiny community has been kind of upset for a while. People have burned through the content and just been upset. Like, Destiny 1 was a game that people played and played and played and played. They just grinded on because it had systems in it that made grinding make sense. Every weapon had different, like, rolled stats, so each weapon could be different, whereas in Destiny 2, if you have the weapon, it's always going to be the same. So there's no reason to do it again. So the community has been upset, and then they heard that they're being robbed of their XP, and shit went bad. So Bungie was going to do a live stream of their new expansion, something
Curse of Osiris,
but they canceled that, and they're like, we need to address stuff.
Not Curse of Osiris. They canceled the stream.
Yeah,
Be clear about that one.
They canceled the stream, and we're like, we need to talk to the community and just like calm down the situation. So they put out a blog post called "The State of Destiny 2." What was that about, Bunny?
That was about how there are people at Bungie who read Reddit and listen to streamers complaining and listen to all of the things that people are talking about on the internet. They announced a litany of changes that will be coming, some on December 5th, some on December 12th. And I'm just distracted by the cat. No, that's
my favorite thing is that he'll sit in my lap and then he'll let me tickle in between his toes.
Oh my gosh.
And like I'll tickle him and his whole foot will just spread.
Oh, that's adorable. Anyway.
Destiny.
So, Destiny. They addressed a lot of the concerns, and I think they addressed most of the important concerns, like what I would call critical concerns. They addressed the cooldowns. They've basically removed the cooldowns, for all except the most bot-like grinders.
I want to point out that with this XP thing, they removed the fact that the XP was scaled, but in response to that, they just raised how much you need to get a bright engram.
Right. Now, at the same time, that means if your XP isn't scaling down, right? So we don't know, and I don't know if it's in place yet. I haven't played Destiny in a little while. I've been waiting for Curse to come out, but we'll see like how long that actually takes. But if I don't care if it is a consistent amount of activity that I have to do, right? Like if I can run, 20 strikes and I'll get a bright engram, cool. I'm fine with that. If I know it's 20 strikes, it's 20 strikes. If it's however much, as long as it's consistent, I'm okay with that. The scaling being removed is great. The scaling being removed means that 80,000 experience is going to be a whole lot easier to obtain, and you would have been earning bright engrams way faster. That being said, there isn't anything in a bright engram that I really care about except for getting the dust for when they sell that exotic ship.
I think people were just like, it seemed super manipulative that they were like bright engrams is their paid thing.
Right.
So the way they were lying to people, almost kind of like, you know, tricking people about how attainable the bright engram is, and then they might just say screw it, let me just pay for it. And
right.
they got through in with a very bad controversy already associated with
Yeah,
Battlefront.
and
that was not great for them.
if Battlefront hadn't happened, it wouldn't be as big of a deal, really. I think more people would be kind of thinking about it like me, like, okay, they want to monetize the game, they have to do some sort of upkeep on servers and stuff, and they chose to do it this way. I don't care about shaders. I don't need to be equipping a different shader every 30 seconds. I don't care. I want the black shader that turns all my stuff black, and that's it. Leave me alone. But a lot of people want that, and I didn't care about that, honestly. And if there are going to be people that are going to pay into that system, and that's going to mean either A, we get more frequent content, or B, we get better content, or both. A little bit of both there. So that would be great. But their blog post, which they titled "The State of Destiny 2," right? Yeah. Announces all of these improvements and stuff like that. They're introducing new systems for like their what they call their most engaged players. Masterwork tier weapons, which are basically legendary weapons on crack with re-rollable stats, which everybody wanted. Sounds awesome. And it sounds like there's a way for, we'll have to wait to see the system in progress, but it sounds like there is going to be a way for you to just use one gun and get the rolls on the stats that you want, which is really cool. There's new vendor rewards, including ways to actually just purchase the item that you want from the vendor, which is really nice. They're adding armor ornaments for a bunch of different sets of armor, which is really cool. Actually, a nice touch. I didn't think that they would show the armor ornaments that they did have in Destiny 1. I thought were really cool. So they're upgrading incentives for players who complete prestige activities, which means Teddy might actually get to play his prestige raid. Maybe. But yeah, there really wasn't much reason to do a prestige activity unless you want to have a blue halo over your head for like 3 days. So it'll be nice to actually have incentive for that, because it's nice to be rewarded for completing the hardest activities in the game. Better rewards for strikes, which was a big complaint. Like it didn't make sense, like efficiency wise, to run strikes, which are kind of like dungeons in World of Warcraft. Like they're shorter group based PvE pieces of content that you go through. The cat is just losing its mind over there.
He's in his happy
dying.
place.
Good for the cat. So yeah, they're upgrading the strike loot and stuff like that, which is really nice. Private matches for the Crucible, don't give a shit. Won't play Crucible ever again because I hate it. Crucible tuning, like adjusted supremacy scoring, whatever. They're changing game modes that sucked anyway and will probably still suck in my opinion. They're adding a quitter penalty, which is really nice, because people quit Crucible games all the time. There is a ton of stuff. They're like throwing everything that has been said for the last month and a half or so, since the community tore through all the content and then tore through it again on PC when it came out. They just they've been listening. It looks like, and it may seem like to some people that they just took this and kind of threw it together from the most upvoted posts on the Reddit community. But even if they did, if they're choosing to make these changes, they're doing the right thing there. So
yeah, I mean, Destiny 1 had the problem of like a lot of people played Destiny 1 right away, and then if they weren't active in the community when stuff came out. Like, they had a lot of people drop off early on, but then you had your hardcore people who just played and played and played. And with Destiny 2, they tried to focus more on the people they lost than the people they kept, and tried to make it a game where that you played it and then you put it down, and then when a new expansion came out, then you pick it up again. But it wasn't something that you had any reason to play for constantly. And all the hardcore players who want to only play Destiny, want this to be their game, were just like left out in the cold. So this update seems to be focused on, hey, you now have a reason to play this game all of the time, which I don't really understand that like mindset of like why you would just want to constantly play this content, but there are people who are like that, and this is for them.
It's the same thing as Diablo. It's the dopamine shot that hits when the loot pops, and that's what it is. That's why I played Destiny through all of Destiny 1, and why I'm still playing Destiny 2, and why I purchased Destiny 2 on Xbox and PlayStation and PC in the digital deluxe version, on all of them. I love the game. There isn't anything else out there that really gives me that same satisfaction. Definitely not in a first-person shooter that focuses on PvE content. So it is a dopamine shot every 30 seconds, and that's why people love it. It's naturally addictive, and that's why people want it to be the only game they play, right? Destiny 1 had a lot more addictive types of systems in it than Destiny 2 does. So, and I think that's why a lot of people are disappointed, because it's not quite as addictive as it used to be.
So one last piece of news about Destiny 2 for people who have a Amazon Alexa will now be able to talk to their Alexa to get your Destiny. Your Destiny is in your Alexa now. So you can. So there's it's kind of weird how it works, but you can say Alexa, ask Ghost about things like Destiny lore, what is the Red Legion, stuff like that. And you can also use it to change equipment or things within your actual game if you link it all up. So it's kind of dumb for you to like play telephone of like, hey Alexa, ask Charles to ask Ben to ask Ghost to put on my second set of armor, please. But if you're to want a thing, there's a thing. And there's also a little a Ghost speaker that I don't know if that's required or just a bonus thing that you can get. It looks like
the Ghost speaker?
Yeah, if you click on the Polygon article, you will see the speaker. And the
Amazon device, it requires an Alexa enabled device.
Yeah.
So if you have whatever the Amazon Alexa things are, I have no idea what those things are. I'm like, I don't know what they do.
The Amazon Echo?
They're a thing that you talk to. So if you have that, then you can then spend $90 more to get the Ghost speaker.
Yeah, it's a voice assistant, so you can be like, hey, Alexa, play music. Or if you have like...
Hey, Alexa, order me some toilet paper.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely designed for Amazon-based stuff, but Amazon also owns a music service. You can play the music off there. You can also get...
Audible.
You can get Hue lights. I was at Adam Wells' house the other day, and he had his living room lights were Hue lights. So to turn off the light, he was like, Alexa, turn off the living room light, and the light went off in the room. So using...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't talk to Siri on my
That-
phone, so I'm like,
That is how the
leave me alone.
computers are going to take over the world.
yep.
so if you connect the stuff up, it's a cool little device. Apparently, the Destiny 2 Ghost skill for Amazon Alexa devices is now available. The skill adds over 1,000 custom lines voiced by Nolan North, who is the voice of the Ghost in Destiny. You say Alexa ask
Dinklebutt.
Ghost and all of that stuff. So there's a cool little thing if you do that. Oh, that's cool. So you can say, Alexa, ask Ghost who in my clan is online. Ask Ghost for a clan update. So there's kind of like,
That'd be a whole lot easier than the confusing UI that's there now. I press what? F1 and then tab and then I hold tab or what? Ah, screw it. I'm logging off.
yeah. So there's a cool thing. So that is all of the news for the last 2 weeks. It's been pretty light. We're getting to the end of the year, so we'll be seeing less news. But one of the biggest news, not really gaming focused, but it will relate to to gaming, is what we'll talk about in our topic of the show.
Tots. Wait, no.
They're not using it anymore.
Tots.
With the FCC's plans to destroy net neutrality, what could that mean for gaming? Darian?
That means it's going to cost me money to play League of Legends. Probably. I could definitely see them putting some...
Buy the gaming package of our internet bundle. Only $15 more than your standard package.
God, but that's so frustrating because like even without like having specific companies have to pay more so that you can charge extra for those companies, whatever, however that works. My provider was like, "Oh, you're planning on doing in-home streaming? You should go up another package," and like was trying to convince me to get more than I knew I needed. And I was like, I know I need this much. I'm good.
Do you have data caps with your...
I don't believe
do.
so. If I do, they don't advertise them.
Oh no, none of the companies advertise that they have data cap.
Let me tell you how
have to
little
dig
you
for
can
it.
use.
Yeah. So I have Comcast here, and we have a 1 terabyte data cap that I obliterate by like 3 every month. And I pay $50 extra a month, so I don't get charged $5 or no, it's $10 per 5 gigabytes that you go over.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, and guess what? The only other provider here has like a quarter of the speed down and up, which is CenturyLink, so it's DSL. So it's like 60 megs down and 6 up or something like that. And they have a like 350 gigabyte data cap or something like that. Like, oof, it's not good. Not a good situation. Data caps should be banned for home internet.
But I mean, data cap is something that they've already been able to implement even with net neutrality, and like,
yeah,
it's shitty. I think net neutrality is going to push that, like they'll be more willing to do that, but it also allow them ISPs to pick winners and losers in products, and including like Xbox could pay Comcast money so that their internet runs faster on their platforms than on PlayStation. So, hey, play this game on Xbox, or play your first-person shooter on Xbox. You'll have a better connection because we paid for it. So there's elements of like, hey, the ISP can charge you for having to use the services, and then they can also make the services pay like like when Comcast was in negotiations with Netflix, they didn't straight out admit it, but there was accusations that they were slowing down services to Netflix until Netflix paid for it. So they can definitely manipulate the system. They can charge you more, and shit's fucked. That's about the long and short of it.
Yeah, it's bad. Write your congressmen, representatives, because the money that they're pocketing from this is probably not going to be worth their jobs for them. Get out there. It's like fightfortheinternet.com or something like that. That you can there's numbers you can text to send a fax or an email to your Senate. It's Battle for the Net, I think. Not battle.net, that's different. That's dead. But no, but Battle for the Net. Check that out. I mean, do something. Say something. Overwhelm your representatives and Senate with your voice. Because it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, it can affect how we play games, how we learn about games. They can make IGN get faster internet, so IGN will be
slower internet.
Yeah. I have not used IGN in a very long time. I've do Polygon and Kotaku and small other stuff than that. But if IGN was the only one that I could get to at a reasonable speed, that might be where I read my articles.
Right. So where you live, you might
since IGN
only
bought
have
Humble Bundle.
Right. Oh man, love Humble Bundle.
The only games you're going to be hearing about on IGN is the ones that you can get through their store, Humble Bundle.
Right, through Humble Bundle.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's kind of iffy.
That would get really dirty really fast.
Yeah, but so say you live in a town where the only internet service provider is Time Warner Cable. Time Warner Cable, I believe, I may be wrong about this, but I believe Time Warner Cable owns all of or a decent amount of Fox, who at some point or another may own a website like IGN or like Polygon. So they can decide that if you live in this town or if you have Time Warner Cable and you want to read IGN or you want to read Polygon, one of these services may get faster internet, may load faster. The other one might not load at all.
Yeah.
Because they can decide that because there's nothing telling them that they can't.
They can straight up block a website because of net neutrality, or force you to pay do a gaming bundle where you could have to buy the game, buy PlayStation Plus, then buy the gaming package from your ISP just to play a game.
Yep. You could also, if they, depending on where your internet service provider decides to pass these costs to, it could be that they charge Sony more to provide internet service through PlayStation Plus, right? Or through PlayStation Network. And then Sony goes, okay, well, it's costing us more to do this, so we have to raise the price of the games or of the consoles or of PlayStation Plus. And that passes, in some way, that's going to pass that cost onto the consumer. And that's not good either.
Yeah.
It could kill online multiplayer, could kill digital games. It could kill anything to do with the internet and the current state of the internet. It's very bad, very serious situation that don't just be quiet. You will notice a difference, I promise, if this is not stopped. Because the FCC don't give a shit. The government is the only ones who can stop it. So
if you are listening to this podcast, you are using the internet. So you are this is your fight. Please fight for the internet. So that brings us to questions. Do you want to be part of the show? go to Ready Set
Yeah?
Gamecast go to Ready Set Gamecast
Yes.
/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite flavor of yogurt for us to read on the show. Yuri.
I like plain.
What?
I like plain yogurt.
Gross.
I already got on. Is that what you're telling me I have to answer that? Plain yogurt, put a little bit of oatmeal in it?
Not like vanilla, like just the plain.
Yeah, like vanilla is plain.
No, there is flavorless
There's
yogurt.
different, yeah.
There's flavorless yogurt, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that, or maybe I have, and I'm just like, oh, cool. It doesn't say vanilla on it.
Yeah, it would be something that like you were gonna make like a shake out of, or something that you would add flavor to. You would not want to eat that straight up.
Okay. Yeah, I always use vanilla for that.
Yeah. So Yuri sent in a few questions. He
What?
asks,
No way.
if you were given $1 million, what would you do, Darian?
Pay off all my debt. Pay off as much of my family's debt as possible. Buy a Sphinx cat.
Okay, then. What about you, Bunny?
Man, if I were given $1 million, pay off debts, buy a cheap ass house somewhere where I can still get good internet,
Yeah. Oh.
and find somebody who is much smarter than me to invest the rest of that at a rate that I can never work again and earn money year after year and live off of it.
I'd probably donate some too.
Yeah,
To, like,
I mean, I'd
local
probably
community.
just keep buying Humble bundles.
Oh, there you go.
Got a lifetime subscription.
Oh
No,
my
every
God.
year on Extra Life Day, pick a stream and donate $1,000.
Blow their minds.
I would pay off all my debt, and I would build / buy a production studio and do like the best podcast streams videos ever.
Wait, are you saying this is not the best podcast and or stream ever?
Well,
Wow.
no, you're just not all in my
man.
nice studio. I'd have to bring you guys to the studio and
You fly me out there.
what's your education?
Wait, I want you to like. I'm going to require that you build this studio on top of George Washington's head on Mount Rushmore.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that would be the coolest studio ever.
Okay, but I feel like that might cost more than $1 million because I'd have to buy America for them to be okay with that.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, like, how much is America really worth?
at right now, record lows.
Pretty sure their
the-
debt is pretty bad. So.
The cheapest it'll ever be. Another question from Yuri. What's your education past like? University / college? What are you studying or would like to study? Bunny?
I have a made-up degree that I made up. I call it a screenwriting degree. I made it up because the school I went to didn't have a degree that incorporated what I wanted to do. So I made my own degree eventually. Took me 8 years to go through college and, figure out that I wanted to do that. And by that point, I had like a bunch of writing classes and a bunch of film classes. Like, I'll just make this my degree because I have the credits to graduate.
So is that just like a filmmaking major with a writing minor?
Yeah. So the school I went to, I was doing an English writing major, and then I got my current job, which meant I could only do like online classes. And they kept telling me, "Yeah, we're adding more online classes. You'll be able to do this whole degree online by the time you're done." And it never happened. So I had enough writing classes and enough film classes at that point. It was a film studies minor that I had completed already at that point. And I was like, well, I've got these classes. I might as well just call it that, and took a screenwriting class as my like capstone class for it and called it that. So yeah. What I would like to study is nothing else ever again, because I don't want to deal with the bullshit of school. I don't mind learning. I'm down with learning. That's all good, but I don't want to deal with the school aspect. I don't want to deal with the politics and check boxes that school makes you go through.
What about you, Darian?
I dropped out of my first year of college, and I'm debating on if I'm gonna go back or not when I relocate.
What would you like to study? Did you study?
I only took general classes. I was studying supposedly for a psychology degree, but I didn't take any advanced classes for that or anything like that. I would be more interested in going into like computer science and then like video editing and audio editing and all the cool technical stuff that I would like to use for like my passions.
What are your passions?
I'm streaming and video
Are
making.
they irrational?
They're a little irrational, yeah.
That was the thing that you'll get in some amount of episodes when we have Alex O'Neill on. I have a degree in multimedia graphic design. They got rid of like it was print graphic design or multimedia graphic design when I did it, but they just call it the graphic design degree now. I got my associates and was like, oh, I really like learning and really like this like stuff, so I went back for my bachelor's. But sadly, like it turns out that the only difference between the associates and the bachelor's is basically just a bunch of general classes. So I kind of regret that decision because I don't remember any from the Spanish class, but I had to pay for and deal with that whole thing and all that.
And how useful is that to your graphics?
Yeah.
Not at all.
I have forgotten all of my general stuff because I don't use it. I still like use my graphic design stuff occasionally, not as much as I'd like to. I don't have a job in the field, which I actually prefer. Like I feel like that's something that if I did all the time, I wouldn't enjoy. But because I use my graphic design degree for the stuff that I want to use it for, then I enjoy it more. But yeah, that's what my degree is. Yuri's last question was, what do you collect? Bunny.
You're asking me first every time. I collect games on Steam. It's true.
I asked Darian first this first time, so
all right. Fair enough. I collect Steam games. Not really, not intentionally, just by accident, because Humble Bundle. My Steam library currently says
this stream is sponsored.
This stream is not sponsored by HumbleBundle.com. Go there. By the Yogscast Jingle Jam Bundle.
This podcast is no. Anyway, Darian, what's your collections?
Wait, I wanted to hear how many games he has in his Steam library.
Okay, so the Steam library says 762. When I combine that with Play Night here, which has my Origin games and my Battle.net and Uplay games added, I have 821 games available to me on my PC. I've got I think I've got 260 some on my PlayStation 4 and another 80 on my Xbox. But yeah, I collect. I guess I could say I collect games.
Digital games, not physical games.
I mean, no, physical game. I don't have the space for it, honestly. And physical games were too tempting for me to trade in and get a new game. I think I bought Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube 5 times because I played through it, traded it in immediately, wanted to play it again, bought it again, traded it in. Just a bad idea. Digital games are better for me because I can't trade them in. So,
Darian,
I'm happier.
I collect Funko Pop figures, sort of. I can't afford to keep buying all the pretty ones that I see all the time, which is really sad. I also collect those little metal buttons with like different like pop culture references or just like funny quotes on them. I have a little bin full of them. I probably have like 150 different buttons. And socks. I collect socks.
That's what my dog does. If we leave him out, she steals our laundry. I'm not kidding. She's like, we'll come home and her bed has like 10 different socks on it. None of them matching. A pair of shoes on there, or 3 shoes. She's weird.
I love it.
I don't really have any collections. I almost had a Disney Infinity collection because like it got to a certain point that like, oh, I have so many of them, I should just try and finish it. But then the game died, and I kind of lost motivation to care. So
Rip.
Yeah, I just have like a bunch of stuff. Like I have a bunch of comic books. I have Funko Pops. I have a bunch of figures, but none of them are like I'm trying to complete a collection. It's just like, oh, that looks cool. Let me get it.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of.
That's really how I buy games. Too. I'm like, I might play that one day, or I want one game in that Humble Bundle. Guess I should go for the top tier Humble Bundle. Better beat the average.
Yeah, if you get Humble Bundle, you always go for the top one, even if you're like. I think there was one time I went for like the medium tier just because I already had the like games that were on the top. That was the only time I ever did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got to get that top level, especially when it says more games coming soon. Ooh, ooh.
Okay then.
They could be amazing. They could be the best games in the bundle.
Not Yuri Gaspar asked a question. He asks, which kind of bear is best? Darian?
Oh, Panda Bear.
Okay.
Ooh.
She is wearing a Panda Bear t-shirt for the people listening to the audio.
He's eating pizza and his name is Humphrey.
False. Black Bear.
Are you wearing a bear shirt too?
No, I'm wearing a Batman Funko Pop shirt.
I was kind of excited for you to like pull your shirt up and then like, ha!
Oh, no. Then I was like,
What
then I thought
up,
about it, I
you?
was like, I don't own a shirt with a bear on it. I just wanted to quote The Office.
You're missing out.
Teddy bear.
Oh no.
Shout out to Teddy
You had a lot of
Chinaris.
time to think about that.
Rip Teddy.
And
Rip Teddy, he's Teddy.
Teddy died, that's why I'm here.
we left him in the trunk.
You have to name this. You
Teddy,
can't.
you know Teddy
You have to
does call his
name this
followers
Teddy died.
Teddy's Bears. This is the Teddy moratorium stream. Who's giving the eulogy? Is that what we're ending with?
Oh no.
We've got one last question from Lady Killer Bunny. She
That's my
asks,
wife.
Birkenstocks, yay or nay? Boy, Killer Bunny, what do you think?
No. Nope, not at all. Hard stop on that. And I'm going to lose that fight every single time because she's a yay on them.
Oh, is she?
Nope. No,
Darian,
yeah.
Are you Googling Birkenstocks right now?
Yeah, I had no idea what they were. I'm
They're
gonna
a
have to say
specific
no.
type of sandals.
I don't. Those are ugly. Those remind me
Thank
of the
you.
ones that my mom wore when I was growing up, and I
Thank
hated
you.
them.
Thank you.
I don't really
Pretty
think
sure my
there's
mom-
like sandals in general are not great. So
Yeah, it's hard to find like a sandal that's not a flip flop that doesn't look like shit.
Very true. And even flip flops, I'm like, you have to see my toes in those. No.
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
I'm looking at the image search for Birkenstocks, and there are several photos of people wearing socks with them. So I'm gonna go with no.
Yep, right? They
No.
look like they're designed to be worn by shoebies, which is a Rocket Power reference.
Okay.
Sorry, that show was like 15 years ago, and I barely remember it.
So one of the kids who was like the new kid in town, they called him Squid. He wore sandals with socks, and the sandals looked like Birkenstocks. And they made fun of him, and they called him a shoebie because he did that. Ultimate insult.
Okay, then.
Shooby.
Well, this brings us to the end of episode 7 of Ready Set Gamecast. Brought to you by Humble Bundle, apparently.
No. Hashtag not sponsored.
Yet.
But you should go there because it's a great place.
It's a good cause.
Go to ReadySetGamecast.com for links to the podcast on all of your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on YouTube.com/LastGeek. If you're listening to the audio, go to the YouTube deal to see a Darian cuddle with a cat for a majority of this podcast.
It was very distracting and quite adorable.
Usually I lock everybody out, but David was very particular about, are you going to lock me out of the office again today? And I was like, no.
Yeah, I saw David walk in the background several times in different outfits. He changed clothes.
Well, he came home from work and he just wanted to say hi. And then he went and changed into his loungewear and came to play games. So I'm sorry if there's definitely a lot of additional background noise. Unless Bryce edits it out. So sorry, Bryce.
It's my life. If you like this show, please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes and Stitcher. Seriously, guys. It helps us reach new people and become bigger and better. So if it doesn't take long.
Means I have to kill less people to continue my just unending, unquenchable thirst for power and blood.
So if you've got an iTunes, if you have an iTunes account and that's how you're listening to us, or you have a Stitcher account, just bring up the thing, type in, they're great, and give us 5-star review, or give us a 3-star, whatever you think is...
No. 5 stars are nothing.
5 stars are GTFO.
But we'd really appreciate it. Maybe we'll start reading reviews on the show if we get some.
Oh, there you go.
Also, if you at me about the show, I will definitely at you back and mention you in the show. Please at me on Twitter. Love me.
Darian, where can people find you on Twitter and stuff?
So Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitch, all the same username. Dexterity, that's spelled DEXTERIDEE.
Bunny, Colin Bunny.
What up?
Where can people find you?
You find me on Twitch and on Twitter. I use this face space nonsense. Or really anything else. I'm super Killer Bunny, but you gotta spell it wrong because it's more fun that way. So it's KILRBUNY. You know, the way all the cool kids did it.
Right.
Yeah, super spell right. You spell super right. You spell Killer Bunny wrong.
Okay. And lastgeek.com, lastgeek on Twitter, YouTube, lastgeek plays on Twitch. Lastgeek.com will get you to most places. That brings us to the end. Thank you for another awesome episode of Ready Set Gamecast, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Woohoo! Bye.
Bye.
Bye.